Hey everybody, we are at the Neat offices in London. As always, I've got Graham to explain the latest news. Graham, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi all. Graham Walsh, Global Product Specialist for our Alliances team.
Awesome. So this is interesting news. So this is Neat and Shure working together. Really love Shure and all their audio products. Big fan of what they're doing. And you guys have come together to kind of offer a best of both scenario. So talk us through what that means.
Indeed. So it's for one product, our Neat Bar Pro. So again, designed for those medium to large rooms, those spaces. So Bar Pro has the capability of using what we call external USB audio. So on the Bar Pro itself, there is a USB port.
Yeah.
So then when we use this, we disable all the onboard mic and speakers on there. And then everything goes to that audio over USB.
And this is a particularly big deal because this is Microsoft Teams Rooms on Android. So we've seen these integrations on Windows before where you can work that, but now we can do it on Microsoft Teams Rooms on Android in this case.
Correct, yeah. So taking two certified products, so the Shure products and the Neat products, and again, having them certified as bundled by Microsoft too, it's something we're working on. So again, customers have complete peace of mind that they're using certified solutions. And the reason that is because we do things like MuteSync. So if you have the tabletop mics,
they have the little table embedded buttons.
Indeed, yeah. So whenever that's muted, it obviously mutes the hardware. And also you've got to remember about audio. Teams has some great audio processing in the cloud. We don't want that used on a room solution where the Neat can do it, or even when we then add in Shure. Shure's got its own solutions. Neat has theirs.
Let's have a look at Shure. Like I'll stand out of the way. Like what are we talking about here? What
Sure.
can we add to the bar?
I've got to stop saying that.
Sure.
Sure. That's neat. So within the Shure product range, there's an all-in-one ceiling tile here, the 902.
Yeah.
So this has got the built-in microphone and loudspeaker in a standard sort of ceiling tile you can replace.
Yeah.
And then hook that up to your DSP. There's actually DSP built in, but depending on how complex you want to make the room. So if you want to make a simple solution and you don't want anything on the table, then obviously that's quite a nice solution.
Yeah.
You then have the traditional 920 microarray for the ceiling, round or square, and you can hang it from down, etc. That's when you would pair it with your IntelliMix, say P300. Then that P300 would connect directly over USB.
Yeah.
And then if you want to sort of table mics, some people love a table mic and mute. They just feel if they're closer to the microphone, they can be heard better. So that combination can be used, but also some of their newer solutions. So you've got the Microflex wireless.
I love the Microflex, but the idea of having a wireless mic connected up to my NTR is a really nice experience.
Yeah, so, pass it around the audience, and then have you can have the network connected speakers, so you can use that. So if you just drill down into one of their products here, so you can see they do square, they do round, but you build out your solution and then use their Shure Designer to set your room up. It can be done very
So where's the line? I've bought the Bar Pro. What's the use case where I go from using the inbuilt to potentially the Shure?
So again, it's on room coverage, and we talked about this earlier before we started recording. Is your room acoustically treated? We know this room is terrible. It's not treated. A lot of people conference rooms have been designed by architects.
Yes.
And not
lots of glass, lots of flat concrete.
Lots of hard surfaces, no soft furnishings to dampen those sounds. And people don't want to change the look and feel of the offices. Let's throw technology at the problem, and that's what you can do with Shure by adding in sort of better either ceiling mics or table mics or even handheld mics. If you've got a large space and you're not too worried about capturing someone in person on video right at the far end, but you want their audio because hey, you can hear a great question.
And why can't I just do this with any Microsoft Teams Rooms on Android? What's the development you've done with Shure there?
So what we've done, again, on the P300 and then over to the new ANI USB they have as well, you've got to write a driver for each product to say, okay, when I hit mute on the Teams controller, it's sending the mute signal over USB into the DSP controller. So everything is in sync. If you thought it was on mute and it wasn't, there could be
that's a horrible experience. Nobody wants that.
So we want to make sure everything is certified, everything's supported and working.
And it's a true partnership, like you're supporting each other, it's agreed in both directions.
Exactly, yeah. So we're working together with each other, with their Chicago demo headquarters where they are, where their labs are. They have all our kit. We have their kit in Oslo as well, so we're now doing co-development to make sure it's all working in sync. And that'll be rolling then as we release an update, Microsoft release an update, Shure release an update, they'll all continuously be tested as well. So
any special license or extra capability I need my Pro?
No, nothing on the device, very simple to configure. So let me show you on Neat Pulse, for example. So what I can do is connect to this device live.
Yeah, so we're actually connected to this pro now, aren't we?
And I'll just accept on the controller there, save time. So here's my standard Teams View interface. This is the new 2.2 interface, QR codes, 6 icons, moved over here now, so it's all matching.
Mini demo of remote control, so we're in the pulse management capability, we can see the room remotely as well. Really nice.
So I go to the controller, go to my settings. So one key thing here is when we do external audio, you can't use BYOD mode. There's only a single USB port.
Right, so you're using that for the Shure scenario. Makes sense.
Correct, yeah. So you've got to make sure BYOD is off, and then you simply turn the toggle on, audio over USB.
Nice.
Again, end users can't do it, it's password protected, so an admin has to
But
do
it really is that simple. So you've got some setup on the Shure side,
Yeah.
the Shure gear, but you just stick that toggle, USB connect,
Yeah.
and you're away.
And then that disables everything on here. And if you do have a Neat Center connected, and obviously Neat Center does have its microphones, it disables that as well. So it knows to use the external audio. So
Oh, nice. You can bring all those worlds together. You can still get the Neat Center for the camera.
Correct. Absolutely. So you get the best of both worlds. Great video and great audio together.
Awesome. Cool. If you want to find out more around, where's the best place to head?
So go to neat.no and then shure.com as well to see their solutions, and we'll be bringing them together for sort of live at various trade shows throughout the year.
Awesome. Thanks, mate.
Thank you. Cheers.